Good morning, friends. And welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Arlington. My name is Linda Battellini, and I serve as the Vice Chair of your Board of Trustees. Ours is a community of diverse theologies, of people with various cultural, racial, and class backgrounds. We have a broad range of genders and sexualities, and people with disabilities and abilities, both seen and unseen. Some here bring the culture of their family's religion with them. Some find inspiration in the great books, others in the great outdoors, and others in great sermons and great conversations. Whoever you may be, we welcome you to join us with your whole self here where we come for community, we find inspiration, and we live with purpose together. There's a lot going on this week in our wonderful community. Our 75th anniversary party Friday night was delightful, with a new round of our history presented by Bill Fogarty, and you can see many of the pictures in the back there still today, and a baking contest which brought out the best in some of our cooks. There was lots of chocolate. In yesterday's lead session, our own Dr. Ann McKnight shared her wisdom from years of leading the Bowen Center about family systems theory and how each of us can positively affect our congregation's culture by developing our relationship skills. And today, we have a chicken truck and an ice cream truck outside after this service. We have food for body and spirit in abundance here this weekend. Today in coffee hour, look into the religious education program display with their ideas about how you can help. It's so much fun to be in touch with our children, our youth, and our young families. Yes, we need teachers, and yes, there are also non-teaching roles that are very important too, so check it out. They'll be glad to have your help. And finally, this is the last Sunday of our pledge campaign. I once heard a spiritual leader say that generosity is the first spiritual principle, that generosity is a quality in our hearts and minds that we practice, that we can cultivate and develop through our actions. Their point was that all actions of love and compassion and justice spring from this fundamental spiritual discipline, and that generosity with our time, with our affection, and our resources brings true joy into our lives. We are a very generous community, and we are stable financially, especially since you generously stepped up to pay off our mortgage just a year ago. Thanks to your capital campaign pledges, we're now able to cover expenses without dipping into our endowment each year, and that's a wonderful position to be in. Our annual pledge campaign is when we each step up to the challenge of funding our community in the coming year. As a board member, I'm particularly aware of the extraordinary efforts of our staff that make so much of our beloved community possible. And it's easy to take for granted the skills and the generosity our staff brings to its work every week. A key challenge this year is for us to recognize and cover the increasing cost of living in this area by advancing our staff salaries appropriately. Paying people fairly is an act of love and justice in that we recognize their work as valuable and worthy of a fair wage. Please express your love for each other, the community we cherish, and for our staff by pledging your support today. There are pledge cards in the pews, and come see me at the table in the coffee hour. It's only when we know how much funding we'll have that we can plan our future. So thank you as always. I have faith in your generous and your joyful support.
Linda, thank you so much for that welcome and that invitation to community. It is good to be with all of you this morning. I had hoped this morning to be able to introduce you to our new interim music director, Dr. Jessie Leong, but unfortunately they are ill today. They're going to be just fine in a couple of days, but you can imagine their sadness at missing their first opportunity to meet you. So we have a different plan for the postlude. You'll hear about that later. And I hope that you'll be here next Sunday to meet Jessie, and they'll be with the choir on Thursday evening as well. We're very excited to welcome them, and we are excited to welcome you. So I want to invite you this morning to turn to someone near you, someone perhaps that you have not come in with, and say hello. When we gather, and I am glad to be here with you. Our call to worship this morning comes from Unitarian Universalist minister Ian Riddell. And the first line may be familiar to you from a poem by the Sufi poet Jalaluddin Rumi. Come, come, whoever you are. Do you hear that voice calling you, calling us? That voice which calls us together here today in this room made holy by our presence and by the sacred breath we share in our singing and speaking and silence. That voice which calls us to remember that we are not alone and that we are inextricably linked to all other life, woven into a vast tapestry of existence of which we are a powerful, integral, and holy part. And just as we have been called here today, we act as the voice, as the heart, as the hands of another call. The call to walk with the wanderers, to sing and dance with the worshipers, to proclaim the memory of those who have taken their leave, to wrap the despairing and the broken in the arms of love and community, to hold the hands of all of us who have broken our vows and call us back again and again to the covenant and work of justice, humility, and steadfast faithfulness. For this, we are here together today. So, my friends, come yet again. Come, let us worship together.
Each week, we light our candle of compassion to hold space for those experiencing loss. We hold in our hearts this morning the 26 people killed in tornadoes this weekend in Mississippi and Alabama. Our compassion is also with our siblings throughout the world who are living with loss from the increasing effects of climate change and natural disaster. A personal sorrow this morning, UUCA member Beverly Bugos' brother is in the ICU after a stroke, and Beverly asks us for prayers. We send her care, and for anyone here at UUCA who is struggling, please remember that we are here for you. You can reach out and connect with our pastoral care team at any time. You may have noticed that we have the trans pride flag here on the pulpit and also a smaller one out in the lobby. And that's because we honor International Transgender Day of Visibility, which is this Friday, March 31st. We give thanks for and celebrate trans folks in this congregation and throughout the world. We honor their relentless resilience in the face of repeated unjust challenges to their rights to survive and how they navigate systems that attempt to regulate their inherent worth and dignity. This morning, we'll also light our chalice together, and we gather as a community of memory and hope to celebrate life and its infinite possibilities for love. And please join me with the words in your order of service. We light this chalice as a symbol of the light within every human heart.
May our individual sparks meet and merge, bringing both light and warmth to the world.
Is number 311, Let It Be a Dance. Please join us in body, mind, or spirit, or voice.
Rise.
Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you. With the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. May the music say the words, and then fill the sky with sailing birds. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Learn to follow, learn to lead. Feel the rhythm, feel the need. And to reap the harvest, plant the seed. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you. Through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Everybody turn and spin. Let your body learn to bend. Feel the pool in the wind. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. A child is born, the old must die. A time for joy, a time to cry. To reap as it passes by. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you. Through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Morning star comes out at night. Without the dark there is no light. If nothing's wrong, then nothing's right. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let the sunshine, let it rain. Share the laughter, share the pain. And round we go again. Let it be a dance.
I know, I always love it when we have the all-church band with us, and now it is with 100% more accordion. I would like to invite some of my younger friends to come forward. If you would like to join me up here on the chancel, come on up, let's sit down. Ooh, I like those hedgehogs in your pockets. Excellent, come on up. And we have a baby visiting with us today too, a baby doll. You wanna sit there? What about sitting right here? Maybe right here? What do you think? Oh, she has a deer. Oh, gosh, sorry. Yes, and a deer and a baby doll, and okay, wonderful. Do we have places to sit? Yes. No, we're quite spread out here. Hello, everybody. I wanted to talk to you today. You want to grab a seat right here? No, you're good. I wanted to talk to you today about holidays. Now, what are some holidays that you like to celebrate in your family or at church? Anything like that? Penelope, what do you think? Christmas, that's a really good one. What about you?
Birthdays.
Birthdays, yes, yes. Easter, yes. Thanksgiving, excellent. What about at the end? Christmas, another vote for Christmas, yes. Halloween, love that, yes. Easter, Halloween. Valentine's Day. We have a whole lot of holidays that we like to celebrate here. We celebrate some of those holidays here at church, right? I like the holiday we celebrate in June where we put rainbow flags all over the church. That's Pride. That's a good holiday too. And some of those holidays we celebrate at home with our families, and we might celebrate other holidays with our families too at home, or even learn about holidays our friends are celebrating. Did you know that in the space between, like, if you go back a couple weeks ago and you go forward a couple of weeks, there are something like 6 holidays at least that people are celebrating in different religions and different families and different communities here in Arlington and in the congregation and then all around the world. So I wanted to tell you about just a few of those holidays, see if you knew anything about them, and see if we can figure out if they have anything in common, even though they're different from each other, right? So a couple of those holidays have to do with a change in seasons we just had. What change in season did we just have? Does anybody know what season just started? Jaja, do you know? Yes, it was just turned into spring. Can you feel it outside sometimes and the flowers are coming up? Well, in pagan traditions, particularly within the Celtic tradition, people are celebrating Ostara. They're celebrating the beginning of spring with celebrations outside. And you got, what's that?
I got snow today.
Anybody? No? But we're excited about it. Yay! And so folks are celebrating the beginning of spring with Ostara, or in the Persian tradition, they're celebrating Nowruz, which is another spring celebration. In that tradition, it begins the new year. So the way, sometimes maybe some of you talked about what you wanted for the new year in January. If you celebrate Nowruz, right now you're setting intentions for the year ahead, and you're celebrating love and spring and new beginnings. Just a few days ago, Muslims all over the world and here in Arlington and in our community started celebrating. Does anybody know what we're in the middle of? What month we're in the middle of? Any ideas? Yes? It's a Muslim month. Anybody out here know? Or what do we think? Oh, Eid. Eid is, yeah, absolutely. Eid al-Fitr is at the very end of that month. It's a big, big celebration at the end. And Eid begins Ramadan too. So we're in the month of Ramadan. And so during Ramadan, just wait 1 second because we'll have more. During Ramadan, Muslims are from sunrise to sundown, the whole time the sun's up, they don't eat anything so that they can concentrate on being connected to God and to their community. And then when the sun goes down, they have a meal together and celebrate together with an iftar. And at the very end, they have a big iftar called Eid al-Fitr. So that's one piece that, let's see, we just had the holiday of Holi, which is celebrated in the Hindu tradition. And people celebrate love and colors and divine love by throwing dye, by throwing colors at each other all over so that you're all covered in pink and blue and purple and yellow and green and any color that you want. That makes me think of another holiday coming up where we use dyes maybe to turn things certain colors. Anyone think of something similar to that? Not people, but yes. Maybe birthdays. We could dye things on birthdays. Yeah. Any other ideas? Yes. Easter, we might dye Easter eggs on Easter. So there's something about colors and celebrations. And then a lot of these celebrations have special meals with them, like Passover in the Jewish tradition, which honors the story of the Jewish people escaping to freedom. And sometimes we talk about freedom for all people and has a special meal. So what are some of the things that are in common with some of these very different holidays? What do you think? They're celebrating something wonderful, maybe love, maybe spring, maybe freedom. Yes, what else? Oh, you weren't. Okay, yep. Anything else that we see in common? Food, good meals. Do you have yummy celebratory food if you have a holiday? Maybe something special to eat? Yes, I get some nods, okay. All right, well, that's pretty good. So they're celebrating something wonderful. There's maybe some food, and it's maybe colorful and fun. That sounds pretty good to me. Thank you for sharing with me about some of what you know about holidays, of which there are so many right now that we can learn about. And I want to invite you off to your classes where some of you will probably learn more about those holidays, and maybe you will eat. Who knows?
Peace to you on your way. May you grow in love each day, meeting new friends and opening your minds to the wonders of the world you will find. To the wonders of the world you will find.
As Greg shared this morning, this coming Friday is Transgender Thursday, actually, isn't it the 31st? That's Friday. All right, well, so you know the calendar. Jeez Louise. This Friday, which is March 31st, and it was the 31st, is Transgender Day of Visibility, a day of honoring and celebration of all that trans and non-binary people bring into the world, all that they are. And so I wanted to share a prayer this morning from M. Jade Kaiser, who writes with the collective liturgy group Infleshed. I encourage you to check that out online, infleshed.com. This prayer, written for Transgender Day of Visibility, is called Praise Be. And it draws inspiration in part from the Bible verse from Isaiah 5:20, "What sorrow for those who say what is evil is good, and what is good is evil." The prayer of M. Jade Kaiser. Praise be to the creator of queer and trans wonders, of bodies made perfect through self-love, of love that is expansive, of the holiness of strange, of lines blurred and certainty troubled, of the particular beauty birthed from determination to be, of becoming, of multifaceted, of community in knowing the joy and the struggles, of generations of proudly weird, of solidarity, of tenderness, of together, of ever unfolding ways of being, of families made in endless variations, of will not hide, of surviving in forced hiddenness, of unafraid, of trembling but persisting, of sacred connection in flesh, in heart, in sharing resources, in being with and for one another. Praise be to the creator of queer and trans wonders. Amen.
Fuente de amor, ven hacia mí y al corazón, cántale tu compasión, sopla al volar, sube en la mar, hasta moldear la justicia de la vida. Arráigame, libérame, fuente de amor, ven a mí, ven a mí. Spirit of life, come unto me, sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit